We are set up for an epic climb tomorrow morning. That ridge looks exciting, maybe even spicy. Some sections, I'm sure I'll be using my gimp arm again. Santa Rosa Range, pretty incredible place. Despite being lower than Toquima and exhibiting lesser of an elevational gradient from the valley bottom to the high point, this range seems a lot more vast and rugged. Toquima is comparatively gentle in many sections, again, despite being higher and higher above the valley floor often. This may be rather challenging, if not impossible. I need to sidestep it somehow, because see, there's a knife edge up there, which could be fun and exciting, could be impassable. More to come. Back in the land of granite boulders for now. I believe it mostly ends after Granite Peak here. But Granite Peak is not going to be a pushover. This is only the beginning. This might actually be Granite Peak right here, which means the knife edges and rugged, let's call them rooks, are on the north side and may need to be circumvented nonetheless. But I believe that's the summit right there. Could be a little false summit, but it's pretty much right there. The views back in this direction are incredible. Seems like an alpine range, but it's not. Not bad at all. Looks like an easy route up from here. Getting back down. Maybe tougher, but we'll see what the east side of the ridge looks like. Pretty gentle ahead. Just one more high point out there, and it's a lot less high than we are here. Looks like the snowfields probably peter out after north slopes of Granite as well. To the machines continues. They're so desperate, they'll cross snowfields. Up to bouldery slopes of very low forage, but they're doing a number on what exists. Piece of cake. Santa Rosa was harder. Appears to be a weather station of some sort up here, solar powered, possibly old and defunct by now. I can actually see my car right now. It's at that pass down there. Tempting to just bail, but I'm not going to. What else am I gonna do? Go back to my study area and fry up in the heat? Yes, but it's only for a couple days on the way back, not this whole rest of this week. Looking challenging going down. Might have to take that side ridge a little bit. We'll see. Yeah, that part in particular looks pretty knobby. But once that's over with, it's nothing but smooth sailing, so I'll be back to this pass for my car in a few days no matter what. Got a good 50 miles still way out there, but it's all in a loop in that mostly lower country, especially coming back. I'll be taking that lower country back. The ridge itself becomes low country in another 10-15 miles, it looks like. All three of the major high points have been summited. That's a fourth one, I guess. I wouldn't call it major. I think it's called Buckskin Mountain. certainly below 9,000 feet. Whereas we're back to 9,600 up here or so. Little Quonset hut. I'm gonna go check out, have some shade in. Here's the pattern. They try to climb such steep walls and then end up dying of starvation. They burn themselves out. Interesting to think about drinking locust corpses when you're getting some nice snowmelt stream down there. I've only had one snowmelt stream so far that was of direct access, and it was not an area like this, thankfully. But I can see big piles of them right there on the slopes. Right there. See them crawling up? They'll keep trying all day, every day until they die. Even with nice willows and chokecherries and stuff to eat here. Let me get off my ass now. Pioneering's over for Nevada this season, I do believe. We'll keep walking and collecting and traveling another week or so more. A little less now. And enjoy plants along the way still, if the locusts leave any behind, that is. Nothing here because of them. Terrain has changed dramatically from Granite Peak. Lots of red rock now, or at least reddish in portions. And lots of easy to walk over screes, lots of open bare slopes. Probably naturally that way, probably not denuded by locusts. And it's easier going. I got 5 miles to my stash and I definitely need it. The provisions are being challenged at the moment. Energy reserves, etc. Not dire or desperate by any stretch of the imagination. Just it'd be an unpleasant night if I didn't get there. And I'm gonna get there and I'm gonna get beyond, because it's time to make some more miles. And I can easily make well over a mile per hour on terrain like this, unlike boulder fields, boulder ridges, where half mile an hour is more like it. Definitely behind nearly a full day. But I think all the flat openness ahead that I won't have been out here much more than a week overall. Looks like a new track is coming to the rescue, if we want to frame it in those terms. Tracks can get close to 3 miles per hour on. And yes, these screes are not bad at all. I prefer screes to taluses any day of the week. I expect to reach the last stash, which is at the northern end of the range, not the one I'm hitting soon in 4 miles or so. Probably by end of tomorrow as well. It's only another 15 miles beyond this coming one. And I expect to make more mileage today, and there's official tracks and roads and whatnot afterwards. This is unofficial, not marked on maps. We have a very intriguing high point ahead with a historical mining district on it and kinds of old tracks in such areas. The locusts are simply devastating any remaining vegetation here. These other species of Balsamorrhiza, absolutely devastated. They love polemones. I don't think a polemones is very well defended chemically. It seems to be the case, because they will largely avoid the artemisias and eriogonums. I didn't see any herbivory on mints yesterday. What's that genus? Agastache, for example. Not much herbivory on a very glandular scented potentilla I just found as well. And of course they love the phloxes, which have spinose or pungent leaf tips. No obstacle. They love the phloxes. Barely been seeing any phlox flowers whatsoever. They'll cluster on them and gorge them down immediately upon finding. Unlike the Tokima, which has 2 to 3 relatively common species of Cactaceae, there's 0 Cactaceae. I think we're beyond the northern tolerance limit of, I'm not sure. I mean, I could be surprised still, but Pediocactus and Opuntias are lacking in these mountains. Range has become quite basalty. Becoming more forested, oddly, as we descend below 8,000 feet fairly regularly. Got white pine, cercocarps, and aspens all in the same friggin' grove here. It's mostly cercocarps, but the white pines have been appearing a lot. You can see them more prominently on those slopes maybe. Lots of cercocarps, especially on those east faces, and then buckskin out there is really intriguing to me. It has those slides and really dark forests on it. Must be cercocarps. Very dense, dark, south-facing forest, though. Locusts are desperate. They are starting to eat sagebrushes, I'm noticing. That's how desperate they are. They're crowding along any flocks. Therefore, my food up there, it's under some bushes that they like to eat. What bushes do they not like to eat is a better question. Happens to be snowberries in this case. Let's see what happens. Let's find out together, shall we? Be interesting for all of us to know. Someone else has been here. They didn't find my shit. There it is. I think it looks okay. Beans and juice time, baby. All good below, all good on the climb up. With some sore tendons and bones and stuff, no doubt. At this point. Here's the last 15 miles of Santa Rosa. We did 35 pretty rugged ones. These are going to be a lot gentler, I do believe. Start off with a 1,000-foot climb of Buckskin Mountain up there with a heavy pack. So despite the trek, it's a little bit slow. Plants are simply devastated, no doubt about it. But looky here, there's another interesting Ivesea in this range, and this one is definitely different. It is not a cespitose ridge plant. It is a cliff dweller with white petals instead of the yellow ones above. Become quite taken with this genus Ivesea in recent weeks and months. I'm basically accumulating enough samples to do a phylogenetic analysis of the genus if I want to. Still need to write the key, but I'm going to do that next week because it's coming up anyway. Some spanking new Forest Service signs up here. Spending money on something, if not trail maintenance. That's what it says. We're on Buckskin. 2 of the major summits today. It was 1 per day before today. Not too bad. We started admittedly close to the summit of Granite already, a couple miles from it at least. But it was a substantial climb and we had a stash to pick up. We may finish the range tomorrow. There's nothing to see after that. We gotta loop back still. They're cannibals. Descending Buckskin this locusty morning. They've destroyed all my flower photo possibilities. Lots of my collection possibilities. I fear they've destroyed parts of my car because they've eaten the hell out of my trekking pole down to the bare plastic at this point. They get to it every morning. They've even made quite a few holes in my tent. I was just noticing my brand new, quite expensive tent. Thankfully that damage is a bit on the light side, but nonetheless, they are really fucking pissing me off at this point. And whereas earlier on I would have made steps to avoid them, now I make steps intentionally for them because they really are out of hand. And they just hiss at me and click at me all day. It's impossible not to get pretty angry with them. And of course, if one dies, they'll just eat it anyway. It's all one massive organism in essence. But I've had it. They devastate every single phlox plant. They'll crowd on the phloxes and eat the brand newest buds so that they don't get a chance to reproduce this season. Or once the locusts die, maybe there'll be some kind of rain that comes that allows them to still flower and fruit this season. But otherwise, these wet years are some of the worst for the plants by virtue of the locusts. Every phlox is a crowd. Every phlox. And they're eating sagebrushes now. They're desperate. That's Oregon out there, all ahead, beyond these last ridges and peaks of the Ascent of Rosa. Idaho out there. Great Basin continues beyond, northwards for a bit. Got lots of rolling step between here and the Oregon border, which is formed by a river. Might be a fork of the Quinn. The locusts are decreased in concentration a bit lower. And that's because they've devastated the vegetation here already. Not a flower to be seen. Many hundreds of feet oftentimes in peak flowering season. It's bad. And as we've seen, they try to climb to the highest ridges. And then what? I'm not sure where the life cycle goes from there. There's got to be a mating and an egg-laying stage. Do they go back down to lay the eggs so that the next generation will climb up slope again? Those are the mysteries of their lives that remain for me. Otherwise, I've had enough of them. Killing my botany out here. I've made 1 potentilla collection today so far. It's the only thing I've really seen. And yeah, they were working at it. They had found it. And really affects the pollinators pretty badly. The pollinators were really focused on those few potentillas as they were being chopped down. Locust heights are devastating for all, I would say. I don't know who eats the locusts, maybe ravens, maybe coyotes. Range continues as warm, dry, rolling steppe. Ridge proper. I don't know if you just saw that bird freak out when I started talking. They like to nest in the sage brushes, a number of species. The ridge has me going east for the moment. Those are the Calico Mountains beyond, different range. As you can see, we're about to meet up with more track systems. Those pretty much take me north to the end, it looks like. It's still a distance, it's still an 8-10 mile hike northwards up there through those tablelands down to the Quinn River. It's a fairly easy day, although the pack's heavy with the stash from last night. I drink and eat more, I guess. It's a lot of progress today. I slept on buckskin there last night. Now the range takes a far northwestward turn to descend to the Quinn River. Horse trail still working. Ascending slowly but surely now. With some bumps along the way, nonetheless.